It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are live with Expresso on the start of a brand new Wednesday morning. It's hump day, and probably the hottest topic at the moment has to be the coronavirus. Yes, but more importantly, the shift towards personal hygiene. The importance of good personal hygiene cannot be overrated. Now more than ever, obviously, with diseases and the common cold even about to approach as we head into winter. And with this morning, our focus shifting onto that, our regular family therapist and registered social worker, Kim Abrams, joins us to give us some tips on how parents can get that message across to their little ones. I'm all about that 20-second hand wash. I'm singing happy birthday and singing happy birthday twice. And then you know you've hit it. Morning, Kim.
Morning. I think it's a very important topic, especially for parents. We need to understand that hygiene starts with us first, and so that's obviously how we're going to implement it to the kids. But what are some of the risks and dangers that comes with not taking a good care of yourself and not introducing good hygiene to yourself and to the kids?
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, if you think about it, it is that whole disease prevention and trying to limit not spreading bacteria and viruses between one another. That's one of the main reasons why we advocate personal hygiene. But on top of that, it's actually a lot deeper in terms of it's important to teach your child this so that they learn how to take care of themselves and take pride in themselves. And then that just organically increases their self-confidence and sense of just feeling like they are presentable to the world. It is a habit that children have to learn, though. They're not just...
And
kids are messy and they, you know, can do really gross things sometimes, but that's just part of their learning and development.
I'm just thinking of my feral child with food all over his face. And I'm like, every time I pick him up from creche, I'm like, is that really my child? But it's so important that we instill that early on. I mean, it's worth us thinking as adults how good our personal hygiene is. How often do we wash our hands? Maybe this kind of phase of the coronavirus educational cycle has kind of prompted us to all think a bit more about that. But why is it important to start that at a really early age?
So in terms of, we always want to start habits with children early. The earlier that they learn it, the more kind of just organic it comes in terms of just being part of their day-to-day functioning. So you want to start as early as possible with basic things. But remember that it is about keeping it fun. It's also,
You wash your hands.
Exactly, like songs and just teaching your child. I think parents underestimate that just because we know how to do it as adults, it means our child knows how to do it and to be clean. But they don't, they have no clue. So they are going to learn from you. So it's important to start as young as possible. I think once they start learning how to be potty trained is a good time.
Okay, I was going to ask that.
So, what age would you then recommend?
Yeah, so from about 3, 4. So from about 4 to 5 years old, your child should be able to brush their teeth. Obviously, you need to double check everything and put clothes on for themselves and to brush their hair. Obviously, if they are insisting that they bathe themselves, always just do a double check. But from about 4 years old, you want to start seeing some more learned independence.
Bit more of an independent take on that. Maybe some tips to help parents kind of break that first duck. How do we get started?
So the most important thing is you have to make it fun.
Yeah.
There's really no way around it. Obviously, if you have an older child, and remember that teens also go through a natural period where they do test boundaries, and part of that testing is just
teenage boys be dirty.
Yeah, leaving things around and not taking too much pride in their self-appearance. Some children are different. They're all just born differently. But in terms of what you want to be teaching your child, it's the washing the hands techniques by singing happy birthday is a great one. And then there's also another one, of, especially if you have a little child, of teaching them to cough within their elbow. So you can be like, you know, you're going to take like a Dracula cape or a Superman cape and you're going to push it over you and you're going to cough in your elbow. Children need to learn those kind of basic things. And with everything going on right now in the media, with the coronavirus, I think everybody's kind of on high alert. So also try to balance that you're not giving your child a sense of like a phobia about germs and getting dirty. It's a very fine balance.
Because we also know that at a young age they need a little bit of the dirt and the germs to build their immune system, and it's a part of learning is playing and getting dirty, but all within reason. And we're not trying to spread panic this morning. We are simply focusing on one message, that good personal hygiene is the most important thing.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Thank you so much, and happy birthday again to everyone celebrating today. But let's dive right back into a very important conversation. Earlier in the show, our family therapist and registered social worker and friend, Kim Abrams, joined us to talk about the importance of instilling a good personal hygiene practice from a young age, as early as possible, in fact, and how we get that right with our kids. We're going to continue that conversation right now with Kim.
So we spoke about like the good parts of it and what it means to instill good, but what is the negative effect of not having good personal hygiene?
So if you think about it, it is you have a higher risk of becoming
sick,
ill.
yeah.
Of getting sick. It's kind of like the most obvious reason why we kind of want to instill good habits. But you know, cleanliness is actually can be viewed as quite a positive. Yeah, there is that saying. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and there's kind of a big reason for that. In that it's not just about keeping your body physically clean, but also taking pride in your environment. So if you can teach your child from an early age, you know, take pride in how you present yourself, and it's not in terms of like trying to instill vanity in your child, but just to give them a sense of self-worth in that how you present yourself, unfortunately, in this world is how you're going to be perceived. So what message do you want to bring forward, and what can we do to achieve that? So that means like learning how to wash your hands and brush your teeth, take a bath, all of those things. So yeah, we want to avoid having children feel like they are missing something or exposed to becoming ill if they don't have good habits.
And don't send your child dirty and sick to creche so that they make all the other children sick.
Absolutely.
But I think it's also, you know, it's worth taking on board that children really do model our behaviour. So, you know, that's an important part I'm learning more and more as a parent, that you've got to just be careful of what you do and the patterns that you put out there. What are the most important points of hygiene, do you think, to instill in a child, especially going into flu season?
Yeah, so the thing is, children are going to get ill. Their immune system is still building up. So I think parents also just need to be mindful that you can't protect your child from everything. But in terms of things that you want to really instill in your child, it is kind of learning how to wash your hands is kind of the most basic thing.
Soap and water.
Soap and water, and dry your hands. So, you know, and don't just dry it on your top. Like, actually use the towel or whatever is around. So teaching them how to wash, teaching them they need to wash their hands when they come from school before they eat. That is the most important thing. But you remember, you've got to model that. So if you're saying wash your hands before you eat, have you as the parent done that? Because your children will start to call you out on it.
Just do it together, yeah?
Yeah, and brushing their teeth is also that can also be a very fun activity. There's like amazing toothbrushes out now that sing songs and just make it just amazing for children. Yeah. And also just bathing, that can also be a fun activity to teach your child and to get them to kind of learn independence. But I'd say washing hands is kind of on the top.
And you sing happy birthday twice, then you know you've washed your hands for long enough to be able to get rid of it. And soap and water are better, you know, as a combination than hand sanitizers. Literally, this is where we're at the moment. Soap and water. Go back to basics.
Absolutely, it's what we all should be doing.
Final tips and advice for parents being like, oh my gosh, I want to implement it. I want to make sure that my child has it.
I'm failing as a parent.
I'm failing.
No, you're not failing as a parent. You're always learning as a parent. That is one thing to always remember. And from birth until forever, you're learning. So try not to get paranoid about it. I know there's a lot of things going on in the media, but try not to teach your child to start to fear that becoming clean means we must be kind of scared about it and do it because there's a high risk or something bad happening. Make it fun for your child. Just go back to basics, like you know, we discussed earlier, and then your child will learn, and practice makes perfect.
Just repeat it over. They don't necessarily need to know how many people have passed away because of the coronavirus.
Absolutely.
But you can still play your part in educating them and making it a lot of fun. I think that's the most important thing. Work on your singing voice just a little bit, even if you don't have one at all. But it's all about just instilling as early as possible a good hygiene practice. And I'm going to say it again. It starts with just washing your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. Or happy birthday, son.